Okay, next we will move to item settings. Now from here, here also there are few item settings available. First one, warn when item quantities fall below 0. Now if you tick this option, warn when item quantities fall below 0, system will pop up a message that your quantities will fall below 0. Okay, now if you maintain your inventory items correctly or accurately, that your item quantities should not fall below 0. Okay, now if you purchase and if you sell correctly, or if you enter transaction in the system correctly, there should be that item values should not fall below 0. That means there shouldn't be any minus value in the item quantities. So if your quantities fall below 0, system will pop up a message if you tick this option. Second setting is do not allow item quantities fall below 0. Now if you tick this option, system will not allow you to process the transaction. Now if you tick first one, system will display warning message. However, you can process the transaction. But if you select second option, you cannot process that transaction if quantities fall below 0. And also you cannot tick both options. You need to select either one. Next, warn when item cost is 0. Now, except if you received any free issues from your suppliers, other than that, every item should have a cost. Now, when you are invoicing for your customers, if that item is 0 cost item, system will display a message that item cost is 0. Okay, because you are not always getting items free, and if you get free only, item cost is 0. Otherwise that system item has a value. So if you selling any items with cost 0 for your customers, system will display a warning message. Okay, I'll show you that first two options. Now first option is warn when item quantities fall below 0. Now you can go to customer invoice, go to customers, transactions, customer tax invoice, select click add a tax invoice, select a customer and select item. Now we have 6 items in this item. We'll enter 10. Now you can see processing this quantity will cause the quantity on hand for item 1 to 3 test item to fall below 0. This might result in reserved item being unavailable for this delivery. Now you can click OK. That quantity you entered 10 available here. We'll check now. Again, we'll change to do not allow item quantities fall below 0. We'll go to customer transactions, customer tax invoice. Click add a tax invoice. Select the customer. And now that monitor 0 quantity. Now system will display processing this quantity will cause the quantity on hand fall below 0. You are not allowed to process below quantity on hand. Let's select another one. And this item that coconut has 91 quantities. We will enter 100 here. Now system will display message processing this quantity will cause the quantity on hand for this item to fall below 0. You are not allowed to process below quantity on hand. Okay. Now previous one, system will allow, it will display warning message, however it will allow. But if you select tick second option, do not allow item quantities fall below 0, system will not allow you to process that transaction. Next, one when item cost is 0. We'll check some 0 cost items. This A1 item, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 item also cost is 0. We'll check that. Go to customers, transaction, click add a tax invoice, select customer. Here we will select 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, now you can see the cost of this item is 0. For accurate cost of sales reporting, ensure that cost of the item is correct. If you tick this option, one when item cost is 0, system will check, system will display warning message if that item cost is 0. Next, one when item selling price is below cost. Now we'll go to some items. Go to items, list of items. Now this 001 item, sorry, we'll take another item. This 02 item cost, average cost is 2,900. Last cost is 7,800. We will enter invoice for this item. Select this item and we'll enter selling price as 1,000. Okay, now you can see the selling price of this item is fall below the cost price. Okay, now when you are running company, mostly or always you will sell your items above your cost price. Now if you are selling below cost price, system will think this is an error or user error, user data entry issue. Therefore system will display warning message that the selling price of this item is below the cost price. Okay, so if this warning message display, you can again check that item selling price and you can correct that item selling price. Okay, like this, you can change your selling price. So by setting these item settings, you can minimize user errors. Okay, right. Next, display inactive items for selection on document lines. Now you may sell different items. However, later you will find that some items not profitable. In that case, you will deactivate that items. Okay. Now this item after you create item, if you want to inactivate, you can untick this active tick box. Okay, if you tick this active tick box, it's a active item. If you untick this, it will be inactivated item. So this setting says display inactive items for selection on document lines. If you untick this tick box, system will not display that inactivated items. If you tick this option, system will display that inactivated item. So if you inactivated item, it's better, it should not display in the invoice line. Therefore, you can untick, then those items will not display in the transactions. Okay, you will enter quotation, go to customers, transactions, customer codes, add quote. Now you can see that 2BR item will not display here. 2BR item not available. That means it's an inactivated item. Those inactivated items will not display in the transaction lines. Next, display inactive items for selection on reports. Now, if you want to include that inactivated items in the reports, you can tick this option. You can go to items, reports, sales by item, or any report you can click. Next, you can see when you select item drop down menu, you can see that that inactivated items in the drop down menu. Next, sales orders, reserve item quantities. Now, in this system, you can create customer quotations, customer sales orders, customer tax invoices. And if you enter any sales order, if you want, you can reserve those goods for your customers. Okay, now for an example, if you enter sales orders for 10 computers, so system will reserve that 10 computers for that customer. And if you want to reserve a feature, you can tick this option, and then when you enter any sales order, those items will reserve for that customer. If you don't want to reserve, you can untick this option. Then if you untick, those items will not reserve for that customer. Next, display inactive item bundles for selection on document line. Now you can create bundle items. Now bundle item is now when you create any item, for an example, computer, if you create any computer item, it has components that monitor, mouse, system unit, keyboard, speakers, like that, different components available. So when you select computer, if you want to display other components in the that document, you can create bundle items. Okay? You can create bundle items from items list of item bundles. Click add item bundle. You can enter bundle item code and bundle item description, and here you can select items need to include in that bundle items. Now we have created few items. This computer, we have that system unit, speakers, mouse, keyboard, monitor, like that. We have created that components in that computer. So when you select for computer, first you need to change the type to bundle. After that, you can select computer. Okay, now you can see if you select computer, other components of that in that bundle item will display here. And if you want to change the quantity, those item quantities will change. We will discuss this bundle item when we are discussing item module. Now the setting says if you have inactivated bundle items, if you want to display, you can tick. If you don't want to display that inactive items, you can untick this option. Next, use perpetual inventory module. Now, this has add-on module that advanced inventory module. If you activated that advanced inventory module, you can see that perpetual inventory module. So if you want to add that advanced inventory module, please go to my profile, go to administration, my profile, upgrade. And you can enter one under advanced inventory and click next, and you can upgrade that. Okay, so if you have activated that advanced inventory module, you can see this use perpetual inventory module, and you can tick this option. Okay, now you can practice this item settings. Please take a few minutes and please practice this item settings. After that, we will discuss this price list. Okay, next we will move to price list. Now, if you are in trading business, sometimes you will sell same item for different customers in different prices. Now, for an example, item A, you will sell customer A for 100 rupees and customer B for 150 rupees. So that means you have different prices. So now for different prices, you cannot memorize all the prices and enter in the invoice. Therefore, you can create different price list and you can link that price list to your customer. Then when you are select that customer, relevant prices will display in the invoice. Okay. Now for an example, you may have retail customers and wholesale customers. For wholesale customer, you will sell for the discounted price, and retail customer you will sell normal price. Okay, so in that case you can create two different price lists for wholesale customer and retail customers. After that, after you create that price list, you can link that price list to your customer. From here, default price list, you can select that price list for customer, and when you are invoicing for that customer, relevant prices will display in the invoice. From here, you can create price list by clicking plus mark, and you can rename this description, and if you want to remove any price list, you can delete from here. Okay, now you can create a few price list, and you can practice how to create price list. Okay, next we will move to time tracking settings. Now here also you can take this display inactive projects for selection on document lines. You can create projects from time tracking module. First you need to activate your or enable your time tracking module. Go to administration, my profile, go to upgrade, pick upgrade, and in time tracking module enter one in time tracking module and click next. After that you can activate your time tracking module. After you activate your time tracking module, you can go to customers, time tracking, and here you can create projects. And if you have inactivated projects, project activity available, if you want to inactive, you can untick this project, then that project will inactive. So if you want to display inactive projects for selection on document line, you can tick this option. If you don't want to display that inactive projects, you can untick this tick box. Next, set a lockdown date. If you tick set a lockdown date and enter lockdown date here, prior to this period, you cannot, your users cannot enter time sheets. Okay, if you tick set a lockdown date, and if you enter lockdown date here, prior to this period, your users cannot enter timesheet. Okay, now, after you enter that, you can save. Now you can practice this time tracking settings. Okay, next we will move to outstanding balances. Now, here there are two options. Deselect this option if you want to aging to work on the actual number of days. Now there's an option called monthly, and there's a tick box. Now if you tick this tick box, when your outstanding calculate, uh, it will calculate after end of last date of the month. Now for an example, if you invoice on 15th January, if you tick this monthly tick box, system will calculate outstanding from 31st January. Okay, now if you enter transaction in 10th or 15th or 20th, system will calculate outstanding calculation from last date of that month. Okay, if you want to calculate actual number of days for outstanding, you can untick this option. Okay, if you tick this option, even you enter transaction in 1st or 25th, system will calculate outstanding days from last date of the month. Okay. Next, the aging option can be determined based on either the invoice date or the due date. Now from here, you can generate customer outstanding report. Okay, you can view that age buckets. Now this setting says there are two options: run aging based on invoice date or due date. Now when you create customers, you can enter credit period, due date for payment. For an example, if you enter 30, now if you select invoice date, if you select due date, system will calculate outstanding after considering that credit period. Okay, here we have entered 30 days. If you select due date, system will calculate outstanding after considering that 30 days. Now for an example, if you enter transaction customer invoice in 1st of April, you have 30 days credit period, and after that only system will calculate the number of outstanding date. If you select invoice date, system will calculate outstanding from after the next day of the invoice date. Now for an example, if you enter invoice in 1st of April, system will calculate that outstanding days from 2nd of April. That means without considering that credit period. If you select due date, system will calculate outstanding after considering that credit period, that invoice days plus credit period. After that only system will calculate outstanding number of days. Okay. Right, now you can set this outstanding balances. You can tick this option and you can enter one invoice. After that, you can change these settings and you can check that outstanding report. And when you are creating customers also, you can enter some credit period and you can check this. Okay, now please practice this outstanding balances. Okay, next we will move to personal information. Now here you can enter your personal information. Actually, this is only because of Data Protection Act. You can enter any retention period, and you need to enter reason why you are keeping that customer or supplier details. Okay, you can select any number of years. Even if you select 10 years, after that you can increase that period, and you can enter reason why you are keeping this customer and supplier information. Okay, now you can practice this uh, personal information. You can enter any period, retention period, and reason, and you can save. Okay, next we will move to VAT settings. Now here you can select three options: invoice based, payment based, or cash based, or no VAT. If you are a VAT registered company, you can select uh, first option or second option, uh, invoice based or payment based. And if you are not a VAT registered company, you can select no VAT. Then all tax rate will disappear. If you select invoice based, you can again activate your tax rates. Okay. Actually, mostly invoice based system will used in Sri Lanka, so therefore you can use this. Or if you want a cash basis or payment basis, you can select that payment based. Next, you can enter VAT details. You can enter your VAT number here, last VAT period in date, last VAT submission date, and VAT reporting frequency. Now, some companies will submit monthly, some companies may submit quarterly. Based on that period frequency, you can enter number of month here. And you can take this offset credit on sales purchases. Then you can get the net tax payable amount. Okay. You can enter this VAT system and VAT details. After that, you can create your tax rate. Now, if you select invoice base, there may be some default tax rate. If you want to change, you can click that rate and you can enter the VAT percentage. If you want add a new rate, by clicking this plus mark, you can add new rate. You can enter that name, tax rate name, and you can enter VAT percentage. Okay, you can add new tax rates from by clicking this plus mark. You can enter the tax name and tax percentage here. After that, this default tick box available. If you want to make it default, you can tick that required tax rate. Then when you are entering the tax transaction, that default tax rate will display in the transaction. If you want to change that, you can change. Now for an example, here default VAT rate is 8% because we have selected 8%. Okay, right. Now you can practice this VAT settings. You can select this VAT system and you can enter VAT details, and you can create few VAT rates. If you have any questions, please ask. And if you want to remove any tax rate, by clicking this red color button, you can delete that tax rate. And if transactions available, you cannot delete. If transactions not available, you can delete. Okay, now you can practice VAT settings. Okay, we will wrap up for today. Next session, we will discuss document and statements. And if you have any questions, please ask in the next session. We will share the video and we will send you the video link. Okay. Thank you very much. Have a pleasant evening.